So you're new to Genshin, you do a 10 pull, and while you don't get a 5-star, you do get 4-star Yanfei. Now what do you get with Yanfei besides Liyue's best lawyer? Well, Yanfei is a catalyst wielding pyro user who loves her normal and charged attacks so much that her skill and her burst are directly tied to them. And in this beginner guide, we're going to go through everything that you need to know for playing Yanfei as either a player that is just starting up to like adventure rank 25 or somebody that is brand new to the character of Yanfei. So I want to be up front from the get-go. My Yanfei is level 70 with one of her best artifact sets in slot. So while a beginner's not going to be doing the same amount of damage, the playstyle is the same. Okay, so first I want to talk about Yanfei's normal attacks and her charged attacks because that's what you're going to be using the most of. So let's talk about her normal attack first. Her normal attack is a ranged attack that actually throws that little fireball. And you see this little tag that's appeared behind Yanfei? Every time you do a normal attack, you will get one of those tags, up to 3. So her charged attack is also a ranged attack where it drops that pyro item. I don't really know what it is. It looks almost like an altar or something like that, but I don't think that that works with Yanfei's character. Probably something lawyery. It drops that on the enemies using up your seals. And the more seals you have, the more damage it does. So with no seals, it did about 2,999. That might have been a crit. Okay, so with no seals, it did 1,176. So if we get one seal and then do a charge attack, it does about 1,400 damage without crit. Okay, so if we get 2 seals and then do a charged attack, it does 1,700. So now we're going to get 3. And it does around 2,000. So as you can see, it is scaling up with every single seal. So now we're going to talk about her skill. And her skill does an instance of AoE pyro damage and giving you 3 seals automatically. So that you can just follow it up immediately with a charged attack and do a lot of damage. Now her burst is another instance of AoE pyro damage. And it gives you 3 seals, but it also recharges them very fast. You see, I already have 3 seals again. I only did 1 normal attack, 3 seals again after doing 1 normal attack. So that is the beauty of her burst. So the playstyle with Yanfei is that she is supposed to be your on-field damage dealer. Another reason for that is because if you use her burst and then you swap to another character, her burst ends. So she cannot do any kind of off-field pyro damage. Though her charged attack does also use up stamina, so you do need to learn how to kind of control it. Kind of rotating through her normal attacks, her charged attacks, and her skill. So that way you can do damage without using up all of your stamina and then just kind of be a sitting duck. So now that you kind of understand Yanfei's playstyle, where you know that you're going to be using her normal and charged attacks more than anything else, let's look at artifacts. So as a beginner player, you're only going to have access to up to 3-star artifacts. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, a quick rundown for artifacts is that each artifact is part of a set. And every artifact set has a 2-piece and a 4-piece bonus. So for the beginner artifact set, only going up to 3 stars, I'm going to say that you should use martial artist set. Because if you look at the 2 and 4-piece set bonuses, so for the 2-piece set, your normal and charged attack damage is going to be increased by 15%, which is really, really good for Yanfei. And the 4-piece set, after using your skill, increase the normal and charged attack damage by 25% more for 8 seconds. And that's why Martial Artist is going to be your best 3-star artifact set. Now, as a beginner, you may not have access to 4 different Martial Artist pieces. So something else that you can do is you can run 2 pieces of Martial Artist to get the 2-piece set, and then see if you have 2 pieces of Berserker to get your crit rate up. So while not all elemental reactions can crit, Yanfei does like Melt and Vaporize, which are 2 that can crit. So getting her crit rate up can really be beneficial for her, especially if the piece has a crit damage main stat. So talking about main stats and substats on Artifact. every artifact is going to have a main stat up here and substats, and you can have up to 4 substats. Now, your 5 different artifacts, being Feather, Plume, Sands, Goblet, and Circlet, can each have different main stats. On your flower, your main stat will always be HP, so you're really going to be more worried about the set and the substats. On Plumes, or Feather, it's always going to be attack, and again, you're more worried about the set and the substats. Sands is where you start getting into your different options. So for example, this martial artist piece has a main substat of attack %, but if I choose a different martial artist piece, it's HP %. Attack % on Sands is going to be much more beneficial on Yanfei than anything else. So if you do have a martial artist or a berserker piece with attack %, I would be choosing that one. Now for Goblet, you have a lot more possibilities for your main stats. So like this one is Anemo damage, that's not going to help Yanfei. This one is a Pyro damage, which will help Yanfei. If you don't have Pyro damage bonus, then just another attack % can be really, really good. And on Circlet, you can have a lot of different options. Healing bonus is not going to be good on Yanfei. Crit damage would, and the crit rate substat and attack % substat are both going to be helpful. So these are the different things that you need to look for whenever you're looking at your artifact sets. So as a beginner, you're not going to have as many options, and it's much more important to get the set bonus than it is to just try and find the best main stat artifacts. So if you did have a martial artist piece that was HP % and the substats aren't great, but it lets you get the 4-piece set, absolutely do it. So if you do have your 4-piece set of martial artist and your 5th piece doesn't have the main stat that you want, you can do what's called an off piece, which is to choose something that is not part of the set, but it gives you the stats that you want, like crit damage or attack %. So because you only get a 4-piece bonus and no 5-piece bonus, you can do an off piece, and it's not going to affect anything. In fact, it can be quite beneficial to use an off piece to get better stats and keep your 4-piece set bonus. So now we're going to talk about weapons. And we're only going to talk about 3-star and 2-star weapons. These are weapons that can be found in chest. You're going to get them from doing 10 pulls because you're going to get like 9 3-star weapons and 1 4 or 5-star weapon. So you should have plenty of these lying around. So the best early game 3-star weapon is probably going to be the Twin Nephrite because it gets up your crit rate, which if you get your crit rate up with your weapon, you can get your crit damage up with your artifact and do more damage overall. It also has a really, really good secondary effect, which is defeating an opponent increases movement speed and attack by 12% for 15 seconds. Now this is refinement rank 1, so if you do get multiple of them, as you can see right here, you can actually enhance and refine them. And at R5, it actually has an increase of movement speed and attack by 20% instead of 12%. And that can be really, really beneficial. So let's talk about a beginner-friendly party. And by beginner-friendly, I mean that we're only going to use Yanfei plus the characters that Genshin gives you at the beginning of the game up to the end of the Anemo Archon quest. We're going to do another party, including the end of the Anemo Archon quest. But for right now, we're going to just use the 4 characters that Genshin gives you for free. Now, using Kaya with Yanfei is really good because of melt reactions. Now, Lisa and Yanfei can cause overload reactions, but that's not going to be as good because Yanfei won't benefit as much from that. Anemo Traveler will be good because if you use Kaya to get cryo on an enemy, then the Anemo Traveler can kind of spread that cryo around, allowing Yanfei to do more melt reactions before Kaya's burst is ready. So, let's talk about where Amber can come into this. If we were to put in Amber instead of Lisa, you're going to get something called Pyro Resonance. Now, if you click up here, because you have 2 Pyro characters in your party, you will get an increase of attack by 25%, which Yanfei would love. Now, the only use Amber would really have to benefit Yanfei other than Pyro Resonance is going to be dropping her skill Baron Bunny to just kind of allow enemies to target it instead of Yanfei and give a little bit of crowd control. Okay, so now we're going to fight using an entire team of Yanfei, Kaya, Amber, and Animo Traveler. And we're going to see what can be done with this beginner-friendly team. So if you have Kaya and you use his skill, you can apply Cryo. If you then swap to Animo Traveler, you can swirl the Cryo to where it affects everybody else. Go to Yanfei, set up your skill, and just do melt damage. So with Amber, not only are you getting that Pyro Resonance, but you're also getting a little bit of distraction and crowd control with Baron Bunny. To allow Kaya to set up his burst, go to Yanfei. Now you have constant cryo application for more and more melt reactions. Okay, so let's look at that rotation one more time. We're going to drop Baron Bunny to get some distraction and crowd control. Kaya to apply cryo. If we don't need to swirl it, go to Yanfei, skill. You're just going to kill everything around Baron Bunny. Now, if you don't have Baron Bunny or they're a little bit more spread out, you can apply Cryo to one of them, Animo Traveler to swirl it to other characters, back to Yanfei, skill, melt reaction. Immediately into a charged attack. And if you have Kaya's burst ready, then you can use it and just constantly be applying cryo to everything, meaning that Yanfei can just do more and more melt reactions.
Not so hard. Motion to compel.
Freeze. Cool it.
Get him.
Don't get frostbite. Freeze.
Boom boom.
Freeze. Freeze.
Incinerate. Ha.
So now we're going to talk about what would happen if you had finished the Animo Archon quest and you've gotten your free Barbara. So in this instance, I'm going to take out the Animo Traveler and put Barbara in there,
Wish me luck.
and you'll see why. So not only does Barbara offer some healing to your party, which is much needed, it also allows Yanfei to activate Vaporize reactions and Melt reactions. Both of those can crit. So we're going to drop Baron Bunny. We're going to activate Barbara's skill, Kaya's skill to freeze the enemy solid, as well as run around and apply Hydro.
Motion to compel.
And now we have Vaporize reactions as well as Melt reactions. So if we have Barbara's skill available and Kaya's burst, then what we can actually do
Show begin. Motion to compel.
is use it to just freeze everybody in place, meaning that they can't move, allowing us to just do damage. Now, once Kaya's burst goes away, Barbara's skill will remain, allowing us to still do Vaporize reactions. And that is going to be the beginner guide to Yanfei. If you learned something, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm going to keep making more beginner guide videos like I have on TikTok, but these long form videos are going to be much more in-depth in each level of the guide. So next will actually be the intermediate guide for Yanfei, and I will see you in that video.